and fellows in their quest for sanctuary near Hermopolis, or perhaps even Chenoboskion, depending on how far this madness had spread. He'd sent them on ahead with all the scrolls and other treasured possessions they'd been able to carry, the accumulated wisdom of centuries. But he himself had stayed behind. They'd grown lax these past few years. It was no secret they had an underground complex here, he knew, not least because absurd rumors about their wealth and hidden treasures had found their way back to him. If the villains looked hard and long enough, they had every chance of finding these steps, however well he buried them. That was why he'd plastered up the entrance to the baptism chamber, so that some small fraction of their knowledge might survive, even if the underground complex itself was discovered. And maybe one day sanity would return, and they could too. If not himself, then his children or grandchildren. And if not them, then perhaps the people of a future age, a more rational, enlightened age. Maybe they'd appreciate the wisdom on these walls, not hate and vilify it. He finished filling in the shaft, trotted down until it was hard to see. Time to go. The prospect dismayed him. He was too old for such adventures, too old to start again. All he'd ever sought in life was the peace in which to study his texts, to learn the nature of the world. But that was now denied him by these swaggering, cruel bullies who'd made it a sin even to think. You could see it in their eyes, the pleasure they took in the wanton exercise of their power. They wallowed in their villainy. They raised their hands up high as though the blood on them shone like virtue. He was traveling light, just his robes, a small sack of provisions, a few coins in his purse. But he hadn't walked 10 minutes before he saw a glow over the ridge ahead. It meant nothing to him at first, lost as he was in private thoughts. But then he realized. Torches, approaching from the harbor. The direction of the breeze changed, and he heard them. Men and women shouting, singing, jubilant in the anticipation of another lynching. He hurried back the way he'd come, his heart pounding. Their settlement was on a gentle hill overlooking the lake. He reached the crown and saw the glow on every side, like a pyre just lit, flames licking up the tinder. A cry to his right. A rooftop began to blaze. A second, and then a third. Their homes, their lives. The clamor grew louder, closer. That hateful baying. How these people loved their work. He turned this way and that, seeking a path, but everywhere he went, torches forced him back, penning him into an ever smaller space. The cry went up at last. He'd been seen. He turned and fled, but his old legs weren't up to it, even though he knew what would happen to him if he was caught. And then they were all around him, their faces inflamed with bloodlust, and there was nothing more he could do save go with dignity and courage, try to shame them into compassion. Failing that, perhaps when they woke in the morning, they'd look back on their work this night with such horror and revulsion that others might be spared. That would be something. He fell to his knees on the rocky ground, his body trembling uncontrollably. Tears streamed down his cheeks. He began to pray. Chapter 1. Bobsedra Street, Alexandria. Daniel Knox was walking north along Sharia Bobsedra when he saw the earthenware bowl on the street trader's flapped-out tablecloth. Filled with matchbooks and packets of white napkins, it was propping up one end of a line of battered Arabic schoolbooks. His heart gave a little flutter. He suffered a moment's déjà vu. He'd seen one like it before, he was sure of it. Somewhere interesting, too. For a few seconds he almost had the answer, but then it eluded him. The feeling slowly faded, leaving him merely